turning off his game.
So that possibly it'll be a little quicker for us.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That would help. I need to bend it better, but
No, it looks good.
sure.
Doesn't look good.
Hello, everybody.
And those are my cards over there. Hey, people.
What cards?
Right there.
Oh. I didn't know. It's been there for a minute, hasn't it?
Couple days.
Okay. I'm wearing the Tractor Supply hat that you sent. I thought the chickens would be more impressed with it than they were. I was
Really?
like, look, a pink Tractor Supply hat. You're from Tractor Supply. And they were like
purr, 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 purr.
But Red will let you pick her up.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, she will, like, walk straight up and snuggle. She's like a cutie patootie. I need to bend it more. It's a work in progress. Sean's really good at doing it.
I will have to do that. Look.
When you get it bent into place. Hey, Michaela. Hi-ho. Oh, well, he can't hardly just boot you out onto the street, I don't think.
No.
There's, but I'm sorry. I know that's got to be really, really hard.
All right. I'm going to get it together.
He's tired.
Because I'm tired.
Usually, I was like, because we've been staying up till about 1 o'clock in the morning and hanging out and watching TV lately. And I was going to say today, you've done really well at staying up late and then still having energy.
Yeah, yes and no. Like, I mean, I like to stay up with you, but then, like, I end up playing the game and you end up watching videos.
No, I don't watch videos. I watch Jiggers.
Jiggers, that's right.
And before anyone says anything, Jiggers is a sand flea removal in Africa. So don't, that's what it is. Look it up. That's what it's called.
Everybody's scared to talk tonight.
Well, I think there's like a whole lot of people that are live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was this a bad night to go live? Was there a lot of excitement?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, there's 25 people watching. We just haven't said anything enthralling yet. Right?
That's right.
We haven't said anything.
I wonder if we can go like a whole hour with no comments.
No, I think some people do.
I know.
Some people do. We would talk to a brick wall if we thought it would talk back. What was it that I was saying that I wanted to mention live? It's not about drama or anything, but it's... And I said, I'm going to ask about that if other people have the same issue. It'll come to me.
Okay.
It'll come to me.
Is it like YouTube specific or whatever?
No, it's nothing like that. It was something that I said, I think everybody can sympathize with this. And then anyway,
watch this. I'm gonna get
Michaela, have you gone to I'm not sure what your age is, but have you gone to your Department of Aging and Disability? Most states have that. Like they have it in Texas, they have a variation of it here, and that's kind of what they do. And if you need more like subsidy, they're the ones that handle that. The only reason I know that is because of what I do. You might want to check into it and see if they can't help you get into something.
Yeah.
Because
it's a tough position.
I would like to think that we don't let our people just boot them out on the streets, but I don't know, like, not the situation with your brother, but in general, you've begged send me a DM, Michaela. I can't remember off the top of my head which state you're in. Don't say it here, but DM it to me. And I helped her look. Gosh, how long was it? About 6 weeks ago we looked, Michaela. Yeah. There's certain departments that's what they do. So we'll figure it out.
In other news, the NBA, Kevin Durant. So the NBA deadline is coming soon, and a lot of movement in the NBA. Kyrie Irving to Dallas, Kevin Durant to Phoenix, and there's a bunch of other moves going on right now.
I'm just looking this up real quick. You were extremely excited. One of the things that I had no idea was when they traded the guy, what was his name? The one, Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea within 3 days you were playing on that team.
A lot of people were thinking...
I had no idea. I thought you had to practice together for a while, or...
Kevin Durant got traded from the same team from Brooklyn. He got traded to the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
and they're playing in Atlanta tonight. Now I don't think he can make it like overnight, but the Suns are
Right.
right here in Atlanta playing the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let me see if that's anything. Aging and let's see. South Carolina Department of Aging. Have you been to that? Have you called them? Let me give you their phone number. Let me type it. Oh, we don't want to call them. Just give me 1 second.
Don't call them. I don't think they're there right now.
Yeah, let me call them. I mean, let me get the number real quick. Usually you can copy it. Okay, so I'll type it out, I guess, because there's no other way. It's this one. It's the actual website address is, see if I can copy this. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna send the link in and then we shall move along. Hold on. There you go. That is the link. I don't know if you've tried them. They do have a phone number. Usually that's the program that you would probably want to go for. It's a little bit different than what is it, Section 8? It's a little bit different. They subsidize for you to live someplace safe. So we'll see if, I mean, hopefully they can do something. Anyways.
Who else is live right now?
The only people I saw, Katie was live. She's making pork chops. Paula was live. She's not live anymore. I'm not exactly sure.
Because there's nobody saying.
We don't need a band to dance, right?
No.
Let me see something here. But the count's climbing. That shouldn't throw us off. We should still be on our... Oh, it was a picture of something I was going to show. But yeah, never mind. Are you off Saturday?
I am.
You going to tell them?
Yeah,
are you
like,
going to tell them you want another day off?
Yeah. When I said that, you were kind of like, you're like, you off Saturday?
Well, sometimes...
And then you kind of look.
Sometimes you're like, you don't know for sure, even though it probably is Saturday. And I was thinking about that because I think the flea market's open again.
I know there's an open house for the place.
Yeah, we're going to look at that.
We're going to look at.
And then the flea market. I don't want any animals from the flea market. Hey, Loretta.
Hey, Loretta.
Sawyer is over there chewing on something. He's doing well. How are your babies? So, but the main thing that they have, don't they have like, you can get cheap housewares and stuff there?
At the flea market?
Yeah.
There's one big problem with that, baby.
The only time I've gone one time was when in Georgia, when we used to live here, I ended up with a dog.
Yeah.
Do they sell?
They have them. Are you talking about the flea market that's all the way up by I-85?
Well, there's two, but yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, they have a lot of animals there.
That's the one closer to Fort Stewart, right?
I-85, it's right up there. None of them are close to Fort Stewart.
Well, the one that was close to Fort Stewart is the one that I went to. You know what I mean?
The one that's here, the one that's up by I-85 has animals. They have chickens.
We don't want any of that.
You don't want any chickens.
We don't need any animals. We don't need any of that at all. But that's cool to know that, because people get like housewares, like good deals on like pans and stuff like that. I don't need just any pan, but like a cast iron skillet or something. That would be good to find one that's nice and broken in and stuff like that.
Like a good old vintage.
Well, I don't know about vintage, but one that's been around long enough that it's got the good taste in it. It's a Southern thing.
Okay.
It's a Southern thing. I never really knew anything about it. My grandmother used to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
She would keep it in the oven, but she would rub oil on it. Loretta. So funny. Oh yeah. It's Paula's birthday.
Yes.
And she had a birthday stream. And then let's see. There's a lot of birthdays in my family. Both my kids were born in February. It seems like for it being a short month, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of birthdays and things that take place during that month.
I remember that.
Hey, Sarah, it's good to see you. I saw your text come through right when we were about to go live, so I will read it right after I get off.
I was I honestly couldn't remember the birthday, the birthdays today. Not Paula's, but and I was like, when is that birthday? So then I showed you what my Facebook post from
Yeah,
8
it was
years
like a
ago.
memory or something
Yeah, you
that
know
you
how
had.
Facebook kind of does the whole um Facebook wants you
Oh, okay.
wants you to remember, and it shows you something that you put in there
Hey,
whatever,
Karen.
like 8 years ago or whatever. And it was my quote was,
It didn't even sound like you.
no, that's what Mandy said. She said it didn't sound like me. It was
Not a.
like she said. So it was like February's a busy month. My wife's birthday is today. My anniversary is the 22nd. Valentine's Day is the 14th, and then my stepdaughter's birthday is. So there was. That's no longer.
I bet you didn't even send her a card, did you?
Well, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably that'd be 2015.
No.
But
I meant this year. I'm joking.
so
Yeah. So, and I have a kid one date, and then 2 weeks later is the second birthday. And I remember I always said when I had, no offense to February birthdays, well, to most people, I used to go, I would never want a kid born in February. That's such a useless month. And then both of them were born.
both of them. I mean,
Yeah.
February. Here's the thing about February. For us, it's not like February's a short month, so everyone's like, oh well, we can get through February, but then the bills hit again quicker.
Yeah.
But if it's in our case, it's like a cost of living month. Like we pay the bills, but there's 3 like less days in February than the other days that we spend money and do stuff. So that's why I like February right now, because it's.
That makes sense. And then
Yeah.
I guess when you're still active duty, the 1st and the 15th are closer together.
They're closer together.
Yeah. And then so you're like, oh yeah, and then you get paid, and then the next month you're like, I don't have any money.
because the very next month is March, and it's a long ass month.
The one annoying thing when you're an enlisted wife was that October 31st is Halloween. And unless the 31st lands on the weekend, you don't get paid like on the 30th. So you know your kids want the latest costume that everybody else has, so you're like going to get it, but you have to budget for it early because you're not going to get paid on depending how it falls. And so I was like, that's when you tell your kid you're going to be a ladybug this year, but I'm a boy. It didn't matter. Look,
And look,
it's
there's
cheap.
Ladybug stuff over there. But what about the Power Rangers? Ooh,
No.
$60? No.
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 You're gonna be a ladybug.
Yeah.
Well, what about my sister? She's gonna be a butterfly.
She can be a butterfly.
Anyway.
So for like in my situation, I have a
Yay.
job that I get paid every other
June.
week. I get paid every other week at the job. And then for our pensions and the Army money and the VA money and all that's the 1st. So I would always just look at a calendar and be like, okay, that's the 1st.
But he was an officer. That's a little bit different.
And then here's the, every other Friday for my post office job. So it'd be like
I see.
boom,
I thought you
boom.
meant before.
So now, then a couple things happen, where where you get paid earlier. If the 1st falls on a Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, they pay early. And then my bank,
Hey, Dragonfly.
so now my bank has changed their policy to where I can access my money 2 days before I actually get paid. So like, I guess on payrolls, and I've never done payroll though, it's actually in. So like if you have a job where you get paid on a Friday, payroll actually does it 3 or 4 days before, and they get it all sent in. So my bank knows when I'm going to get paid. They let me access my funds 2 days early. So let's say the 1st of the month, the 1st is on a Monday or a Tuesday. So then all of a sudden you're allowed to use your funds 2 days early. But if so long story short, backing it up 2 days and the 1st falling on a Monday, I was able to access our paycheck, the Army stuff on like the 26th. It was crazy how early they let me have it.
It took us a second to catch on to what was going on, because I was like, why is it all of a sudden like, because sometimes and I told him this, he didn't realize this, but when you get paid your retirement, if the 1st falls on a Monday, you'll get paid Saturday by 10 usually. And
Right.
he didn't know that. And I was like, oh, I promise you get paid Saturday by 10. I know. And that.
But then my bank will let me have it 2 days earlier than that. So I'm getting it on like Thursday. I ended up. And Mandi and I are here like on the 29th and 30th trying to budget. So we're like, well, if we do this today and then we can do this, and you know, we have enough money to do this and that. And then I just, well, let me double check the account, and I check the account, and I'm like, oh, we're good.
Michaela says that she got married on Valentine's Day and divorced 8 years later on Valentine's Day.
That's one way to do it.
That's crazy, but it's very, very. That I think my separation date was my anniversary.
It was. I remember that.
Yeah. So I was like,
was that like June 28th or something like that?
Yes, and I was
bet
like,
you I remember that. I remember you didn't remember our anniversary the first time. September 18th.
But legal separations are different from state to state. In Texas, you only have to be, what was it, 3 months? Separated for 3 months? Or
I think it was 90 days.
Something like that.
Yeah.
In North Carolina, it's a year. There are some places it's even longer. I just can't remember off the top of my head. There's some that are even longer. And you have to show evidence you've gone to therapy. I saw that in one state somewhere. Might have been when my friend in D.C. was getting divorced.
I remember my first wife wanted me to go to therapy like 10 years after we got divorced.
Yeah, she's like, we got to do co-parenting. I'm like, they're all grown.
They're all grown up. They don't even live in the house anymore.
It's okay, Karen. She was like, you know, when you try to do 3 emojis the same and you get one in there that's like, I do that all the time.
Hey, Black Dragonfly.
I do it all the time.
It's like
my mom does it too, and then she freaks out. I didn't mean the crying face, and I'm like, no, it's okay. I gotcha. So, but now there's they're taking a vote nationwide on some new emojis, and I didn't realize that they do that pretty standardly with all the new emojis. And I want the explanation as to why the one happy face is a dotted line. Look at those. Why one of the, one of the smiling faces, that's weird. Very, very weird. Right now the other emojis aren't coming up. Hold on. How weird. You see that, Sean? It's all like the member emojis or whatever.
Let's see.
Anyways, you know what? It's a dotted line. And I don't know if it erases after it gets on there or if that's just why it is. Have you seen it?
How did you get to come up with the
those are our membership emojis.
Look at this one, guys.
Those are our membership emojis.
That's one. That's Sawyer Brown right there.
I submitted it again to be approved. Every time I get ready to do it, like to say, okay, this is what it'll be, and this is, you have to have it approved again.
How do you get it to come up?
I don't know how you got that one to come up.
No, you showed me the YouTube ones.
Oh no, but this one right here. Hold on. There's this one. What is that?
Yeah, but I want what are the ones that you had for us?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, hold on. How did you do it?
I did it just like this.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then
you see, we can figure things out together.
Sawyer Brown, Sawyer Brown, Sawyer Brown.
Look at him. He thought you were talking to him.
Sawyer Brown.
Look at his tail.
What do you guys think of the Sawyer Brown emoji? Can you see it?
Those are the new emojis. I don't even. Okay, so yeah, the melting one. I've seen the melting one. The saluting one. I have seen the saluting one. Hey, Marilyn.
Hey, Marilyn.
But the dotted one, I'm still confused about. The other thing is, and I'm probably the last one in the world that knows this, but did you know that if you send an emoji and you hold it down, you can choose to either make it like shower emojis or explode or do all kinds of things on the phone?
I'll tell you. Yeah.
I'm recent to that.
I didn't even know you could erase
a text?
Yeah, I didn't know you could do
that. Well, that's
that.
recent.
I saw it on a commercial.
Yeah, we saw it together where the lizard went.
You guys seen that where the lizard dies and the guy's like texting and he's going, the lizard died. And then it flips back over and then it goes, and then I didn't know you could erase a text.
Mm-hmm. I posted that not too long ago on Twitter. I did a screen record and showed how to do it. The problem is, see, Michaela's got the fun.
Oh, look.
The problem is if someone sees a notification and it dropped down, they can see it. But when they go into it, it's gone. And I think someone did that to me the other day because I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh, wow. And I tapped it and it was gone. And I was like, someone got me. They were sending something very cool that I wanted to know.
You unsent one to me.
Did I?
Yeah, because I could see it. It's like,
I think it was, I don't know.
Let me see. Let's see if I can. It'll say like right here. Like right in, like you was typing and then it goes, boom, Mandi unsent, I think.
Check this out. You know how I like this watermelon aloe water or whatever? So they order it for me and they say it's hard for it to come in. Thank you, Sarah. You're so funny. They ordered 2 cases of it for me and they were like, we're just going to charge you at cost, which is really sweet. They're really good to us at that store. And so the total came and it was like $75 and they were like, we're just charging you. And then he brings up the 2 cases and he's like, $75. And I was like, and so when I got home, I was like, Sean, I need your help. And he's like, what in the hell is that? And I said, it's 2 cases of aloe water.
Well, speaking of trying to budget your money, she's like, well,
I felt bad because I was like,
it's okay because we can. So we open up the hatchback of the Ford and there's 2 cases of watermelon, not even like a variety of different flavors. It was just watermelon.
And the girl that works there, let me see. When the girl that works there, the lady, she's pretty gruff and she's not super friendly with a lot of people, but when you know her, you know her. And I was like, and she put it on a little cart and took it out for me. And I was like, that's so cool. She's a nice lady.
What's that one?
Again, someone who doesn't think I'm a total. She wants to know what sweetens it. And that's a very, very good question. Cane sugar. Is that good or bad? No, I think there's 20 in each case, so
yes,
40. And I guess the normal price is like $2.15, and they only
you pay like $1.90 for each
like
bottle or something like that.
But yeah, it's cane sugar, which I've heard is better than artificial sweetener, right?
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah says my hubby is a lot like Sean. He'll go without so I can have the nicest stuff. But you know what, Sarah? Familiar. You know, your husband, it's not even a sacrifice, I bet, for him. It's not for me. You know, like, I got invited to a party, and I think we brought this up before. Me and one of my coworkers, we're sitting there at work, and this guy comes in. Actually, it was my other coworker, and they hand me an envelope, and they hand my coworker an envelope. We open them up, and we've been invited to this party, and it's in May. And so
it may or may not be a timeshare.
Yeah, we think it probably is. But inside, the invitations were 2 $25 Amazon gift cards. So I was just thinking about it logically with my buddy, and like, we're just the mailman. And when they gave us the cards, they're like, for our mailman. That's what they said. And we're like, so if they're giving us $50, you know, just to their mailman, what is this about? If they're giving $50 per invitation to everybody they invited, and we're nobody. Yeah. So the reason I'm telling you this story is because I got these 2 cool $25 Amazon gift cards that I've been holding on for a month and a half or whatever it is, thinking the perfect thing.
And I was really good at saying, those are yours. You find yourself
that's
something.
Right. Because, you know, Sarah, your husband would just give you those Amazon gift cards, right? So I've had them forever. And then I a couple of times I had a couple t-shirts picked out that I was going to buy, I had all kinds of things. And then I don't, because I'm weird like that. I like place a whole order and then don't get it. I do it all the time. So today, Mandi is like, I found the air freshener for the house. I finally found
I'm going to show you what it looks
like. The fragrance that I like, and it's on Amazon. And I said, well,
because it's not in the stores right now.
Go grab the Amazon gift cards out of my end table and you can use them. And she was like, "Aw."
I know. So, okay, here's the thing. And I got this one just by chance. It's called Rose and Bloom. Let me pull up the thing. Let me pull up the picture. And it has the best smell. It's like a very faint lady's perfume. Or really nice bath. It's not bad.
The only time it's if you happen to be walking right past that thing when it goes, it can be a little strong. Yeah. But other than that,
it scares my cat every single time. Not all of them, but Storm. Every time it goes off, poor Storm.
You know the ones that hang on the wall?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, they kind of go psst.
Aw. Yeah, that spray, Storm every single time jumps straight up in the air. The rest, everybody else kind of knows, but my little Storm. Here we go. This is it. Rose and Bloom. I'm telling you guys, it's it does smell good. And I don't know if I bought the last one, like, because I don't remember if it was a bunch of them or not. I just by chance got it. And then I kept thinking, what is that nice smell? And then I figured it out, but they don't have it in the store. So I had to order it. And yeah, I spent all $50 on those. I got the sprays, I got the plug-in oil things, and what was the other one? Something else. The candle, maybe? My brother and nurse, so we have Preston my brother had, we saw Preston have a violent seizure until yesterday.
What?
Poor little guy was foaming at the mouth it's scary when a pet has a seizure. Very scary. I'm sorry. Is he on medicine for it? Oh, he's on 2 meds. Okay. Sarah, I finally got him to get a new Jordan hat. He just couldn't do it. He ordered me the new Dior eyeshadow palettes that came out. So he was, so his was $50. Mine was $182. Do you like Dior? Like their makeup? Do they have good makeup? I've never used them.
But what
obviously.
did he get for $50? Sorry, babe.
No, it's cool. He got a new Jordan hat.
Oh, that's good.
How does he wash his hat, Sarah? We're having trouble with this. I heard do it in the dishwasher. It didn't really do anything.
It did though. The Texas one, it cleaned pretty good.
So okay, because I'm gonna try it again if that was it. I bet it was Delta 8, you guys. I'm assuming it wasn't just straight CBD. Let me see.
Loretta's like, so I had a nice day. Didn't have to act like I got high or anything.
I was like, yeah, that fool I wouldn't want to get drunk or smoke with because that's real annoying. It's the one that has one wine cooler and starts falling on the ground. And it's called White Girl Wasted. That's what it's called. White Girl Wasted. When you drink very little and you fall all over the place.
The first time I heard that is when I was at that time when I was at Neg's house with AV and Skeeter, and Savage jumped in the chat. Savage jumps in the chat and said, "Y'all are white boy wasted."
Yeah. I mean, I assume I really don't want to offend anybody, but I think that's okay.
Is it?
White girl like for real. That's when I heard that term, and I was like, you immediately in your brain, you know what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know exactly what it is. It's 2 Mike's Hard lemonades and
maybe that's it.
Laughing and jumping around, and then you're like, when should we tell her that there was no alcohol in it?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, they're like, no, we gave you the 0.
After they get sick and throw up everywhere and say, I don't feel so good. There was nothing in it.
I had a friend one time when we were hanging out in Belvoir, and she was not a big drinker. She got to be a heavier drinker hanging out with me, but me and her would be waiting at the bar to open at 11 a.m. at TGI Fridays or whatever, and it's like, okay, we got to plan this strategically.
You can't just go.
One of our husbands is going to pick us up on the way home from work, so we got to get it in and be at the perfect point so that when they
pick us up at 3:30 or whatever.
Yeah, we would figure out which one was working in DC for the day, and then do that. And that's my kids were both in school. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what I did. But anyways,
it seemed like
she would do that when someone would say, "At Boone's Farm will get you messed up." When she would say, and then she knew the bartender that worked at Outback. That and first of all, if you don't know,
it's still a bar.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know that there's a bar there, but who would have thought that you get the hookup from a bartender at Outback?
Everyone's got the bar that they like to go to. Everybody. I mean,
mine was in my garage.
When I was at, I was at the basic course at Fort Knox. I was at like the lieutenant's basic course. We stayed in a hotel that was on base. In the basement of the hotel was a restaurant and bar.
Was it good? Was it a good restaurant?
No, but it had a certain people in it all the time. Like you could go down to that bar and it'd be the same 15, 20 people in it. There'd be other people there, but you could pick out the same like dozen people that were always in it all the time. It was their bar. It's where they go. And nobody got kicked out. No. Okay. So this was pre 9/11. So before 9/11, Army posts were open. You didn't have to show ID. You could just drive on to Fort Bragg or drive on to Fort Stewart. You remember before 9/11. So in this hotel where this bar was, this like mini club, I guess, if you will, about the size of our house altogether. If you not just and with a small kitchen, and it was the girls that went there, because everybody that stayed at the hotel was in the Army, and they were at some kind of school. If that
Okay.
makes sense. So the clientele they liked Army guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was the same bunch. Like on Friday, there'd be, 25 gals there waiting to meet the Army guys when they came back from class.
And most of y'all were already married, so you were like,
That's right.
We're just here to drink.
That's right. And so if you did hook up with one, you didn't have to go anywhere. You just went upstairs.
Do they particularly like officers? Or
They
just
like Army dudes, because it wouldn't be just officers. It would be like there'd be schools that
That's
enlisted
cool.
were going to too. And it wasn't the only, there was a couple other bars and clubs around the base, but
Michaela, I didn't even know
this
that
was the one that had a
one.
hotel in it. So anyway, there's that. That all changed during 9/11, because you can't, and if you didn't have an ID, you couldn't get on. You couldn't get through the gate.
Oh, I see.
So it was before that. So it wasn't all Army people. It would be locals.
Sarah, I'm gonna watch that. She said she's done okay. That's your supper, a slice of cheese, Michaela? That's not very good. So Sarah explains about Dior products.
Okay.
And I'm going to watch it on her channel, and she's going to make another one, because I'd be curious how well that I have problems with an eyeshadow that don't Steel is the best I found at not having a whole bunch of fallout and sticking. But eyeshadows aren't very good about sticking to your eyelids, Sean.
I don't know too much about that. Sarah, she can drop the link, right? Of one
She
that she's
can.
done.
Well, yeah, drop your channel link. She can, yeah. But yeah, so that's interesting, because so y'all went to the bar in your uniform?
No, I mean, but we would, okay, so literally when we got back from class, especially if it was, I mean, it would be 6 maybe, so when you walked into the lobby, you would just kind of look to the right and you'd see in there. You could see people in there already, and you go upstairs or whatever. A lot of people, the majority of people would be, especially like on a Friday night, they would go, they'd shower, they'd do whatever, and they just hang, or they would just go out wherever they were going. Let's say you came down at about 9, the place would be like in full swing.
Every day a week.
No, well, there'd be the same people in there during the week, but like Friday and Saturday, there'd be a lot more people in there.
Okay.
But you could walk in there on any given Wednesday, and you'd see the same 10 people, same 12 people that were always there. It was a little odd.
Probably not as odd as you would think.
I mean, that's the whole point. It was like
I mean, I don't think it's as unusual as it's unusual now, because like you said, it was pre 9/11.
Right. So 20 years ago, most Army bases, all of them, Fort Bragg, all of them that I was ever on, Fort Stewart, people could just drive onto them.
Yeah.
They had the little gate where their little front gate, but I don't even remember.
No.
Did they even stop people? They didn't. They just let you go through. They didn't even have a
guard shack. No. Yeah. When we were in England, we left there in December of 2000, and then of course 9/11 happened September 2001. So we had just left there when it happened. But my understanding now is that post in England that we were at is even more locked down than our military post. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you don't have an access thing, you can't get in. And also, a lot of posts, if you have something on your record, or you're on probation or something, and they scan your ID card, your driver's license, and something comes up, they won't let you on post. When Tanner was enlisting, there was a lady there whose older son couldn't come on post and watch the enlistment because he had something. When they scanned his driver's license, he had something that came up that prevented him, not like a warrant or anything, like some sort of record. They scan the driver's license and it knows.
The Freedom of Information Act or something.
They immediately know. And I also know if your ID card expires, like your dependent ID card, don't hand it to them thinking they're not going to notice it, because they'll keep it.
They used to not.
And then you're really screwed.
I know. They used to not. That's another thing. If you lost your ID, you were coming to work. It became a really big deal after 9/11 if you lost your ID.
I think that's what happened to Homie's ID. She tried to get on
But I'm
post
talking about the
when it
normal
when it was a dead ID.
absent-minded private or sergeant who would just,
Yeah.
in 1990,
Yeah.
no one cared. I mean, I don't know where my ID is, and you just go to work and everything. It didn't matter.
It wasn't a cat card at that time.
It wasn't.
That makes sense. Yeah, now they're and you can also, even as a passenger with someone else driving, you can be too drunk to come on post. If you're acting a fool or whatever, they'll let everybody on post but you. I was never the one that got left off post, but there were lots who, mainly guys. I don't think, like, you would see guys when you're going through the post, that someone would tell them turn, and they would be like walking the other direction. I'm like, where are they gonna go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
where in the hell are they? But you can be too drunk for that.
I
You
know
can also
that
be too drunk for Lyft and Uber. You can be so drunk they won't take you.
there's your Amazon
How
Marketplace.
am I going to rate it? I haven't even gotten it yet. Anyway, go ahead.
They want you to rate the transaction. And
The one that I haven't even gotten the stuff
Yeah.
yet. Anyway, go ahead.
So when I was at Fort Riley, probably the same time you were at Fort Riley, my parents came to visit.
Cool.
It was right after Darcy was born, so they came out to Kansas, and it was before. I'm thinking. So she was born. No, she was born the year of 9/11. So she was born in April of 2001. So anyway, it was fishing. I was like the next spring or whatever, and it was fishing season. At the dam, my dad came, and I took my dad out to Rocky Ford to where we would fish. And what I used to do is I used to take chicken livers and kind of set them out on the fence for like 3 days, so they got good and stinky, and then I would put garlic in with it, and then I would just, it was pretty rancid by the time I used it. So we would go out to the fishing hole and all that, and we would try to catch catfish, but then we would take that bait and we would just throw it into this little cooler. So when we were coming back onto Fort Riley, it was after 9/11, so they stopped everything and they checked my ID and this and that. And my dad was there, and he goes, I said, you don't want to look in the cooler, and I was joking, but it was one of those cops that like didn't have it, so it's like you really don't want to look in the cooler, and he's like, sir, can we look in the cooler?
Okay.
And I was like, okay, if you want. And they opened the cooler, and this rancid chicken liver and garlic hits this guy, and it was pretty bad. And I was like, I told you didn't want to look in it.
You're like, I told you didn't want to look in the cooler. I think this is, do you have this not through the app?
What?
Because look, if you go into
I don't use the app. I don't have an Amazon app on there.
No, YouTube. It said to go back to Chrome, you push this button, and I was like on our own chat. It's really irrelevant.
I don't normally use Chrome though.
So it's got a lot of slice of cheese and 4 tall to break for your Preston and Asia. Oh, my mom used to cook like squares of cheese on saltines and let it melt. That was pretty cool. Also, if you put like a slice of cheese in a skillet and let it cook to where the whole thing gets bubbly and kind of burns, that's what those cheese crisp things that people eat now. That's all they are. Those Amazon crisps or whatever they are, or Parmesan. That's all they are. You can make them yourself. It's pretty good. After I had my surgery revised, I ate that a little bit for the protein or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's, but you might have told the story before about the catfish in the cooler.
I might have told this story before. I when I would go fishing, I'd go fishing all Friday night or all Saturday night, and I caught this one fish. It was a pretty good sized catfish, and I threw it. I put it in the cooler because I was gonna keep it and eat it. So on the way home, because I knew I was gonna go to sleep, I got like this ice, and I packed the fish in the ice, and I went to bed. And I got up probably 7 or 8 hours later. I got home at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So it was about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And I went to the cooler to, get the fish and clean the fish. And when I opened the cooler, all the ice had melted, and that fish was in that water breathing.
Swimming like
just trying to swim, trying to swim in the little cooler. Catfish are like that. They can live. And, anyway, I picked that cooler up and I put it right in the back of the truck, and I drove straight to the lake and I let that fish go.
You're like, you've
Yep,
done your
you've done your
time.
time. I let that fish go and I let it swim off. And
It was
I
a
guess it
different
did.
one though, wasn't it? You took it to a different.
I took it to a
Yeah.
totally different pond, which is not really what you're supposed to do.
That
but
catfish may have you in his will.
that's
It's funny when Sean imitates, like, when you throw a fish back and it's like, it says they get in the water and they're like,
they do.
I'm gonna go to the bar.
Yeah.
You'll never guess what happened.
Yep. Well, there's a comedian who said that.
Oh,
you know?
really?
There was this comedian that said, these fish, and then when you catch a fish and you take the hook out and you look at it and you decide not to keep it or whatever, and you throw it in the water.
And it's stunned, but then
it stuns and then it swims off. You said, that fish swims straight to the bar.
And he's like, guys.
Straight to the bar. It was, guys, I was in the boat. I was in the boat.
They're like, no, you
They're like,
weren't.
guy, I saw the sun.
human was this big.
I saw the sun. I saw the sun. I saw it. It exists.
That's so funny. I like that. You told me that like one of the first days we met,
Yeah,
and I thought that was hilarious.
I was in the boat.
That was his pickup line. But they do. Like, I watch them. Like, I love being on the piers because I'll just walk around and watch everybody fishing. Not just, I mean, I like sitting with Sean while he fishes, but it's also interesting to watch other people fish. And sometimes they almost think I'm like checking up on them to make. I'm like, no, I'm seriously just watching. I don't. And that they caught a stingray, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you could catch a stingray.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh my gosh. And so they looked at it, they took pictures with it, and they tossed it back. It's a pretty big stingray, and it
Stingrays
was like
get really big
when it hit the water. It was on its back or floating or whatever. And I was watching it, and I was like, oh man. And then all of a sudden, it flipped over and swam away. And I said, oh, it just flipped over and swam away. He goes, yeah. I don't think it wasn't, I didn't hook it in the right. I was like, no, I'm not upset or anything. I just think it's cool that it went from just like stunned on its back to, okay, I gotta go.
It's kind of like, okay. I'm breathing. Okay, I'm in the water.
Another thing Sean does
flip it back over, flip over, and we're off. We're off.
The other thing he does is don't you kiss it on the nose and say thank you for the fight?
Yeah, sometimes.
Did you come up with that?
I mean, I don't think I was.
He doesn't make out with it. Don't get excited.
I don't think I'm the first. What? Get off of that.
I think it's sweet though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the first one to ever do that, but yeah, if it is a particularly big fish, I will, I
and they're
lift
always
the fish
girls.
up and I
He thinks
kiss
they're
it.
all girls.
I kiss it right on the top of the head before I let it go.
That's
Some
sweet.
people think it's disgusting, but
no,
that's whatever.
Yeah. The one thing that I really, really regret is when we traded in the truck, we had our decals on there that's why I got some new ones, but they're not exactly the same, from the Galveston Pier and the pier at OBX and a couple of our other ones. This last time when I did, I was like, oh, what the hell? Let's get one from North Topsail because that's where I used to live.
Yeah.
So
I saw the three of them. So North Topsail, OBX, and Galveston.
There's more than that. We just haven't. You love catfish and carp ribs. I didn't even know carps had ribs, I guess. That's cool. Like they have like edible, like they have like ribs, like you can pull the bones out or whatever.
I would never.
Oh, have a good night, Dragonfly. I'm sorry, I got some shots today, not feeling great. Did you do your flu and COVID in the same day? Because that's making people really sick. Like intestinally sick, not like deathly ill or whatever. But yeah, people are getting it. Hey, Missy, the same day.
Hey, what's
and they're
going
getting
on,
really
Misty?
Sick. We need to get that probably. Are we supposed to get that?
The flu shot?
That and the COVID shot.
It's freaking
How many times do
February.
we have to have the COVID shot? How many? Are you supposed to get it every year, right?
There's supposed to be a different, strain of flu. You're supposed to get the flu shot.
I do the flu shot, but nobody offered the COVID shot.
I don't know if I'm going to get another COVID shot. I mean, that's just like, I don't know.
We had it and got it.
We got, and I get what people are saying because we were fully vaccinated and we still got COVID and it still sucked. But I'm fairly certain, and I get it. I get the argument that everybody has. You got to take care of yourself to protect those that are more susceptible, that COVID will kill them. I'm telling you, if you work in society all day long, especially like in the post office or in a restaurant or in Walmart, you're exposed. You're exposed to it. And I'm pretty certain that I've had COVID, or been exposed to it and just didn't get sick from it.
The one that went through us was when the Abercrombie.
The Omicron variant, yeah.
And it went through the whole post office, and one
Yep.
guy passed away from it.
Yeah,
He
we
had it
had,
that bad.
and that was, and Glenn was like 5 years older than me, and he was just
Yeah.
a normal, hard, blue collar working guy like the rest of us. And about a third of us, about
Yes.
1/3 of us caught COVID. Y'all remember last year, and Mandy and I both had COVID. It was about this time last year. It was last January. He passed away. You know, he passed away.
Everyone kind of like, it was like he was out because he was sick. And then
He just never came back.
Well, and then he was like, he's in the hospital. And usually once it gets to the hospital, some people do, but then he said he's on a respirator, and very little,
Yeah,
very few.
It was really sad.
Yeah, and the thing is, Misty says that her husband's gotten everyone because he's in the military. When they were doing the COVID shots, when my son's unit came back from Germany, they were like, okay, we're not going to force you, but if you get it, we'll give you a 4-day weekend. Everybody's like, put it right here.
Stick me right here. I know that when we came to Texas,
Yeah, Russ.
we came to Texas to take care of Dad when Dad got sick.
Yeah, no COVID.
And we were both in, because everybody in my family was quarantining away, and my mom and dad were in the house. And so Mandy and I were living there. So it was the four of us in that house. That was really it. And Dad had COVID, and I felt for sure. And then my mom got COVID. They both lived. Mandy and I did not get sick. We were with them, taking care of them, unprotected, not wearing masks or anything. And then Mandy ended up getting the antibodies from it. I didn't even get the antibodies. I mean, like, I went to give blood, and, I went to give blood because it's a good thing to give blood. And then I was going to get a free antibody test when I gave blood. And it was like, I got like my mom had the antibodies. Everybody did. I didn't even have the antibodies.
Yeah.
So it just affects people, everybody different.
Yeah. But remember when the vaccinations were coming out, that's all we had to do. If everybody got their shot and their booster, the world was going to rise from the ashes, and it was going to be...
And we did. I got my shot and my booster.
We thought we were...
I did.
But it is less serious.
Well,
they say generally you get...
Like if we hadn't have gotten our shot when we got
Yes.
When we got COVID, what we're being told is that it would have been less severe. Like,
I have some.
Like we would have been much sicker if we didn't get the shot or something like that.
Yeah, you had it way worse than me. It was not.
I thought you did have it pretty bad.
I mean, I had it in Texas. I had it and I had the antibodies after that. We think I got it in Texas.
Probably got it. I probably brought it home from work, and you got sick, and I didn't.
It's probably because you'll eat pizzas that been sitting out for a week. Ranch dressing. That is the key. I'm gonna get another one. That is the key for saving.
Mandy is going to go get another one of her watermelon aloe. You know why? Because we have 2 friggin' cases of them.
And I'm going to drop like a on your honor thing so I can refund it. Like,
what do you mean?
It's cold. It's very, very cold.
Yeah, that's like I said, I when COVID first hit, Mandy and I were already doing our channel when we lived in Texas. So COVID hit, and y'all all remember, we all lived through it, and it was devastating, right? It was devastating to everybody. And when we were in Texas got it like later on that summer. So we got to see how New York and Atlanta and everybody else was reacting to COVID, and it was pretty scary. And then, I think almost every single one of us knows somebody that has passed away from COVID. So it's real.
No, pick him up. I was going to show Moxie. He went and picked that out of his toy box.
Oh.
So I had...
Is Moxie here? Is she in the chat?
She might watch the replay. I had, for the people that had dogs that I sent gifts to, like the mods, I sent these, okay? Not this one, but I sent these, like, for each of the dogs, like, Presley and I don't think Loretta, but Karen. Anyway, Sawyer was so sad because he would see me wrapping it, and I didn't get one for him because they only had like 3 left. So I didn't get it, and I mailed it to them because I thought, oh, chickens, and that's what we do. And Sure enough, when Moxie sent us a gift and I opened it, she had sent this chicken. And I think I've already explained this to her, but you should have seen Sawyer. He was so excited because he was like, and I was like, well, we passed it on and you got a chicken. But he doesn't really pay much attention to it. But I looked over when I was getting the watermelon water and he dug it out of his toy bin and carried it in here. And I said, well, we'll see if she sees it.
He got it.
Yeah, he probably is now going to demolish it, but he will have at least 5 minutes of fun out of it.
And so I'm going to carry on with what I was talking about.
Okay.
So now it's 2023. So that's what, 3 years? 3 years, right? COVID.
Oh, yeah.
COVID was like late winter, early spring of 2020.
Uh-huh.
So this is now 3 years and you guys remember how it was going to be this thing that we endured for that year, and by Christmas it was going to be gone. Remember how everyone was like, "Oh my God, this sucks. We're gonna lock ourselves in. We're gonna,
Yes.
There was no vaccination yet for it or whatever. You just had to kind of stay inside. We're year 3, and all the smart guys, all the scientists, and people that really knew were like, "This is here to stay. It's not gonna just go away after a year. It's gonna, it's kind of like the flu. It's gonna keep changing and mutating a little bit. It's going to keep coming back. We're going to get it and try to eradicate it. It's going to kind of slow down a little bit, and then it's going to mutate and it's going to make a surge." It's been about 4 or 5 waves of it, I think.
It has. And everybody kept thinking the numbers were going to start going down. The numbers were going to start going down. And they just didn't. They have now, but there's still quite a few.
It's still out there.
Yeah.
And now the big debate is, and I know that we've talked about it a little bit, and it's kind of the elephant in the room for, at least for our economy, is did shutting down the United States,
have a good night, Sarah.
did it really have a good night, Sarah? Did it have an effect that it wanted? I mean, we're in, an inflated economy, with jobs. You guys know what we're in. You can't get good, people don't want to work and this and that. So shutting down the country, at some point, somebody, with some authority, I don't know if it's politics or whatever, somebody's going to have to bring this to the table and then analyze if shutting the country down was really the right thing to do.
I think they have pretty much figured out that it didn't really cut down on the cases of that, because they couldn't lock down forever.
They couldn't.
And it crippled the economy.
And I think part of the argument that people had was, well, if everybody would have gone out and just got the shot, if everybody would have gotten it.
That wasn't the answer either.
And that wasn't going to happen.
No.
I mean, it's just because of free will and all that,
But, no, I agree. But you said the scientists had been waiting for something like this for a while. They had predicted that we were due for another one. And then you look at, well, what had there's no way to really prepare for a pandemic. They thought, well, if we have respirators, enough respirators, that's going to save everybody. And it just.
There's no way you can have enough respirators.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
It did. And that's kind of what they've said, is that it crippled the economy. And if it had an effect on the number, but what it did is it just kind of moved it down to where then when people are able to go out, and then they had the mask. They did not have a mask policy anywhere in Georgia. We got to Georgia in December of 2020, right? Yeah, December of 2020. Walmart the workers were barely wearing them. The customers really weren't wearing them. Some of the older people were, but masks were not a thing here. So you get a false sense of, okay, well, it must be wrapping up then. It must be, and it wasn't. When we went to Galveston in April? June of 2020.
It really hadn't hit yet.
No, but people thought then it was on the downswing, and you could go. The tattoo parlors were open, but you just had to wear a mask. And I remember we went to that seafood restaurant at the pier, and I was waiting for our dinner, and I looked up the numbers. It had hit Galveston hard.
Yeah, and we were right in the middle of it.
No.
Yeah, we were right in the middle of it. It had hit Galveston harder than it hit Austin at the time. Galveston was.
Yeah, it had its big wave.
And I think a lot of that had to do with like the water and
Yeah.
the shipping ports,
No
because they were
one-
pretty much closed down.
Not a dude at the beach wore those masks.
No.
Not on the pier, not in the restaurant, not in the.
I will say though that when you went to get your
I
tattoo,
agree.
Mandy got a very famous tattoo when she went in there. Which tattoo did you get?
Your name.
My
And
name,
I sent
right?
it after I got it. I sent a picture. I knew Savage and Pirate were gonna, and I sent a text and showed the picture. Savage was like, "Oh hell," and Pirate was like, "You're so stupid."
Yeah, she was like, "Girl."
And then he tried to break up with me, and I said, "Please don't break up with me. I just got your name tattooed."
I didn't really, when she came walking out of there and she says, "Look, I got your name," and I was like,
He acts
I
like
gotta
he
do it
didn't.
now.
He was right there with me when I did it.
No, but the reason why I brought it up is I couldn't come in because I didn't have a mask. Remember?
But they kind of let you.
Well, they were segregating everything.
It didn't even take that long to get it done.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens, and I think I've mentioned this, but we have some other people watching, and maybe someone can pipe up and say, every time I've ever gotten a tattoo, and I've got one here, which was a cover up for something else, and then I have one on my back, and then anyway, it doesn't matter. So this one right here with the phoenix and then his name, both of the times that I got it, I broke out in horrible hives.
Yeah.
Horrible hives. Not just where the tattoo was, in my hair and everywhere else. Has anybody, and I Googled it, there's not a lot of information on that. It doesn't appear that happens very often.
Well, I mean,
I could go right now and do it, and I'd break out in hives.
it's the histamines. Your body's like trying to like stave off whatever. Because I mean,
I guess so.
When you tattoo yourself, it's a foreign. You're putting ink under your skin.
Yeah, but not everybody. Like, why wouldn't I get it? But why would, you're right. It's probably the rush of histamine. But why wouldn't I have just gotten it where the tattoo was? Why would I have not? I got it everywhere.
I thought didn't you break out on your face a little bit though?
Oh
too?
yeah, my lips were swollen, everything.
You did get it everywhere, but there's some places it's going to be more concentrated than others.
Yeah, apparently right here it's not. Mm-hmm. It's no bueno.
I think that'll probably happen whenever you get a tattoo, though.
I know, and it's so stupid because it makes me want to go get another one just to see if because I haven't had hives since the last time I got one. It makes me want to go get one to see
Hey, Mama Ricky, I didn't see her sneak in.
She came in and was talking about COVID. I think that's when she popped in just now. But I want to see if it does it again. But why?
Why do you want to do it?
What am I going to be in the Harvard Medical Journal? Nobody gives a shit.
This girl, every time she gets a tattoo, she breaks out. Which begs the question, why does she keep getting tattoos?
I got several DMs thanking me, not really, for bringing up Fournier gangrene.
Oh my God.
Stitching says she doesn't think she'll be able to sleep for a month. And if you weren't here last time, it is a type of gangrene bacteria that is, well, it's actually gangrene is a bacteria, but it's a type of bacteria that affects the nether region in men. And it's like gangrene of the privates.
Nether region.
Guess who has it, that battles it constantly? Harvey Weinstein, you dirty bastard.
If there's anybody that deserves it.
Like his assistants would have to get him his medicine or whatever that he would take. He comes right up on the thing when you look it up.
But you can't get rid of it?
It's a medication. No, I think it's something that you're always susceptible to, but I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why.
Because he's a wealthy man. I mean,
well, and it kept it at bay.
Yeah.
But the people that you see on the image, see, that's what I'm saying. Misty was like, oh my God, I didn't need to see that. That's crazy, right? The only people that seem to lose all of their bits are the ones that are in countries where the medical system's not very advanced or it's too expensive. And then what happens, let me just say, don't look it up if you're not ready. I'm not going to Google
Didn't we see like
yes, blue waffle. That was I looked at it one time. Someone was like, look up blue waffle. What is that? And you look it up and you're like.
But what is it actually?
It's not even real, I don't think. You can look it up.
It's like an Urban Dictionary thing, right?
I don't.
I'm going to look it up right now.
I don't know what it actually is, but.
Let's see. I'm going to look it up right now.
For a while, it was a big time troll in the drama community. And boy, I don't know where it went.
Well, I think that they got it from.
No, I know they did. I'm going to make breakfast waffles sometime on Color and Blue. Blue waffles for breakfast.
Look at blue waffle disease, WebMD.
But I don't think it's real.
Okay.
You have
Is
to
it a
in
real
images.
Let's see. I'm looking up blue waffle in the images here.
Oh, for the love of
my
love of God.
God. Ooh, look.
Oh, don't look it up. They've updated the picture since I did a search. Don't look. Oh my gosh.
Look.
I don't want to see it. Oh!
That's pretty gross, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, don't look it up.
Someone should have drank their Ovaltine. I know, right? I told y'all, I said, don't look it up unless you're ready, because a lot of people hadn't heard of it. And I was like, oh, goodness gracious.
Severe vaginal infection, better known under the slang of blue waffle. Blue waffle doesn't exist.
Can you imagine going to the doctor? I think you have blue waffle. I'm going to give you some cream for it. You're like, what?
But blue waffle is completely and surely 100% fictional.
Is it?
So basically what they did is they
Don't
came up
show
with
it, though.
They came up with it, and then they said, this is it, you know?
Yeah.
And it isn't.
Anybody have the fear of holes? Like I talked about jiggers earlier, and they pull the little sand flea out, and it leaves a hole in the skin, like a perfectly round hole. And, you know, blackheads, sometimes you watch people do blackheads, and it leaves a hole. Do any of you have the fear of holes? It's called something, and people have it. Typhobia or something like that. Do any of you guys have it? Because, like, I don't. I have probably just the opposite of it. You don't care about holes.
No.
My son's wife does.
She does.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't like,
Mm.
and it's weird because it's like, yeah. Hey, Presley, how are you? It's good to see you.
Hey, Presley.
Yeah, it's like a fear of them, and she has it, and I was like, I told my son, don't terrorize her with it. My son has a sense of humor like mine. Come here. You can jump up there. We're gonna go in a second, Papa. We'll go in a second, okay? He's so cute. He knows the time. He's like, what time is it exactly?
Like, you know,
Oh, I'm surprised
I'm
Scout's
pooped out.
Yeah, I bet. She's having a lot going on, both at work and, hey, by the way, she's having a lot going on. Yeah. He's staring at us.
We're thinking
we are
about
going to go.
Presley. We are, so.
But we're definitely, you're on our mind, Presley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think probably what we're going to do tonight is crawl into bed and see what everybody's watching, because there's like a busy night.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Or I might go down a rabbit hole and look up other tropical bacterias to share with you guys.
Yeah.
No,
so tomorrow or Saturday, if we're not here tomorrow, then we'll be here Saturday. We will talk about tropical.
We'll come up with something fascinating. I'm out of bacteria, to be honest. I've looked them all up, but y'all have a good night.
Yeah.
Presley, thank you for coming by. I know we were headed off.
And it normally is, yes, Presley, 69 days till baseball season. You got to remind me, Presley.
Deer flu.
Remind Mandi. Tell Sean to get my Dansby Swanson jersey.
Oh, you need to pull it out, and I'll do it. Pull it out, and I'll do it.
We're pretty good about mailing the stuff out, but I want you to have it.
And we will mail it to you. We won't mail it to someone's mother or any relative of theirs.
Like some of the stuff that's going on.
I will make sure it's your address and not like an arch enemy, and get it to you. She's been so busy at work, she probably doesn't even know what it's about. It's about Hoghead #1.
Yeah. Get my jersey. Yeah, well, I will. You have my word on that. He's your new shortstop. The Cubbies paid dearly for him, so
it is kind of my fault too, because I want to put something with it and I haven't gotten it yet.
No, that's all right. I can pull it out. I got to pull it out and hang it up out here, and then we'll get it done.
Okay.
All right,
love
gang.
you guys. Have a good night.
See you guys.